Welcome back to the Other Side Lifestyle Podcast with Jim and Aram. Trying to get confused as we're talking today because we are with another Jim. Aram's screen is so out of focus right now. It will save in high quality. It's so out of focus because of how good looking our guest is. He's so good looking. He's browrific. He has the most luscious eyebrows in the industry. And he is such a coveted individual that people, or maybe one person, maybe it doesn't happen all the time, have drugged him just so that he didn't leave a hangout session early. That's how important, vital, and coveted this man is. And he might even drop some names of some big-time ballers from my area, as well as Jim's area, from his work in professional sports. He's a strength conditioning guru. He travels the world presenting. You got a big trip coming up, don't you, Jim? Jim Ferris, everybody. Where are you heading next? Like Bali or Hong Kong or Indonesia?
If I wasn't going to Mumbai, I would be in Vegas for another conference that I had on my list.
Is that a conference for coaches who like really do a real good job, who aren't like fake, but they're pretty real?
That's the word.
I've heard about that one. Wait, you're going to, so when do you go to Mumbai in March?
I leave March 12th.
Oh,
and I think I get there on like the 14th. But it's like one of those, like I land at like 1 a.m. type deals. And then I have that day to like settle. And then I just present the next day.
And then when do you leave?
I'm there until I think the 18th or 19th.
Oh, so you have some time to like get up with the time change and everything else.
Yeah, it's not going to probably work well.
No.
I think it's like 12. It's like 12 hours. So, which I've done before, but it's like, I've done it for longer trips, not when you have like 2 90-minute opportunities to deliver, and it's like, and you're delivering, in a place that might not get your sarcasm or your Delco accent or all that good stuff. So you gotta be a little on the sharper side, which I've learned when you're international with some stuff.
So with the Delco accent, you have seen the skit "Murder My Dirter." Murder My Dirter.
Yeah. Wait, what does Delco accent mean?
If you watch like there's so many shows now. I think it was East or
Always Sunny.
The girl's name.
Is that the mayor of
always? Yeah, the mayor of East. Yeah.
Mayor of Easttown or something? Hey, don't. Yeah. Hey, there. She murdered my dirter.
We just have words, man, that just run out of our mouth. And it's like we say water.
Hoagie.
Did you drink your water today?
Is this Philly? This is like relegated to Philly.
It's outside Philly.
Delco's a specific section outside.
Yeah.
It's the 19050. Like you'll see it tattooed on people. It's very loyal. Yeah.
So it's like a shittier Boston.
Ooh.
Wow. I mean, triggered.
I mean, I'm sure there's neighborhoods that match up pretty well. Yeah.
It's like a Fall River where like the drug use per capita is 100%.
Yeah, they got Mystic River up there, right? We got the Darby Creek. There's definitely bodies there.
Don't eat the hoagie over the dead body.
Yeah, you got the hoagie.
Hoagie.
Subs, the hoagie.
The hoagie thing never made sense. It just never made sense to me. At least the submarine sandwich aspect of it makes some sense because it's long and tubular, but the hoagie thing just never.
I don't even understand what he's talking about, Jim. What does that mean? The hoagie doesn't make sense. I don't understand.
Exactly.
That's what it's called. Delco, a submarine. Are you eating it underwater? What are you talking? What a submarine doesn't make any sense. This is nonsense.
Yeah. It's shaped like a fucking submarine.
That's confusing. Hoagie makes much more.
0% confusing. My father, who doesn't eat sandwiches, will tell you what a submarine sandwich is.
You guys are so uninformed. It's a hoagie.
It's a hoagie.
The grinder, I don't get either. Grinder doesn't make sense to me either.
That doesn't make. Well, what you do with it makes sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could put almost anything in my ass.
Wow. So a lot of days I drink a protein shake in the morning. I'm a school teacher. I'm drinking it in the first class or two, and some kid's like, "What's in that?" And I'm like, "Double scoop protein, some berries, banana, a little bit of nut butter." And he's like, "Oh, I hate bananas. They're so gay." Bananas or the kid said that.
The kid said that?
The kid said that. I go,
that was considered to be okay to say these days?
Oh, they said everyone. I mean, they weren't like announcing it in front of a bunch of people. It was just this little side conversation. And I go,
wow.
I mean, not the way I use them. However you use them is up to you, but
sure,
not the way I use them. Yeah. So that was, I don't know why that made me think of it. I guess you
very
grinders
not,
up your butt.
Very not progressive kid. I like him. He's going to go places.
He's going to go places. So yeah. So Jim, tell us your background and why you are in demand with people, so people know about you. Gloat.
Yes, man. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, and I've done it at every level. I've done it professionally in the NBA with the Sixers. Great opportunity there. I've worked at colleges, universities all over the city, and then from there, I took that network, and that's where I went into the private practice. And I don't know that many strength coaches that have an agent, but I got an agent when I went private, because the job of an agent is to get you work. And I wanted to get travel gigs. I wanted to get some different opportunities. So that's how I started to work with some, different clients from over in Europe. It's how I ended up going to China and working in the CBA as a consultant. A lot of those contracts I choose to turn down just based off of, some of the travel areas, and, not wanting to maybe disappear.
Yeah.
Nah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
It's, but no, it's just one of those things. It's like I took the agent and I said, look, like, give me opportunities. And he got me a lot of stuff on my plate, and he gave me just a lot more exposure. I connected with another guy locally, and I've been working for a soccer club in Jamaica for about a decade. So you'll find me there every year. And it's just something that I created, and I've created this whole quarterly schedule where I just work different things throughout the year. And now, obviously, like I said, being online is like the main thing that I do. But the first quarter of this year, like, this is where my travel picks up. And this is where, like I said, I'll head places. I'll do more speaking and consulting gigs. And then when summer's home, that's when I take claim to training every pro athlete, that's out there for their 6 to 8 weeks of GPP, and keeping them from being too hungover and not doing much with them, and just making sure they're safe and healthy to go back for their next contract. Yeah. And then I roll into a school contract type stuff in the fall. I do advisory work. I do have a mentorship program that I run for coaches that are trying to get out into the private world. All like the little nooks and crannies of what you need to be able to do from the entrepreneur side. Because I think this field is great, but I also feel it's very dangerous, because a lot of people jump in here. They don't have a mentor. They don't have a boss. They don't have anyone that they'll listen to tell them if something is wrong, stupid. It's not going to work. And it's a thing that I want to protect in this industry, because I do want to see a lot more people be an entrepreneur. But the burnout rate is just as bad as it is anywhere else, even at the college level, because they can't last. They can't build a book. They don't track numbers. All they want to do is say, hey, I'm on Instagram, I'm an influencer, I have affiliate codes, and nothing happens, right? You still have to coach, right? Like, I'm 20 years in, and I'm just starting to get it as a coach, I feel like. It's like no one becomes a good doctor the first year they're a doctor. Usually you don't want, am I the first person you're operating on? Oh yeah, let me sign up with you. You want to go to a surgeon that's got like 20 years of experience. You're going to go like, this person knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
But our field wants to hey, I trained for 3 years. Here's my ebook. I consulted over here. I trained pro athletes and Olympic people, but I can't list them because it's just a very broad thing that people say now.
Yeah.
It's all becoming the same stuff. And it's like, where do you love coaching or not? And like, what's wrong with coaching? Why can't you coach people live? Like, why is that frowned upon?
Yeah.
Because it triggers me to leave my apartment and have to go out into the world and speak to human beings.
Well, you don't need to go anywhere, man. You get those cookies delivered to your house that you showed me.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine.
I wouldn't leave either.
I hate everybody and everything.
Yeah. So I think that's where I think I see there's value for me is dynamically I've been everywhere. I think I've been successful at everything. I've walked away from things my own terms. I walked away from situations where I didn't fit into the puzzle. Like, I knew I wasn't a good fit to be part of this team or organization. Or if I didn't have the power that I thought I should have, why was I going to stay and be a glorified babysitter? Yeah. And that's all stuff I want people to understand is the reality of what's your power in these certain situations at different levels in different organizations, and what can you do about it, right? It's different from me being, obviously I'm married, but me and my wife, we don't have kids. So it's not like I have 3 kids. I have to worry about doing X, Y, and Z for financially. And that's always the thing. Oh, yeah, I need this job. I got to protect my family. I do this. Okay. But is there an exit strategy? Do you have plans to be able to actually do what a coach should be able to do? Or are you going to sit there and be like everyone else that we've seen over decades now that are just angry, bothered, upset? And like, I don't know how you call that successful, right? It's like there's ways to get out of it. And these are the conversations I have with everybody. And it's like I said, I'm very upfront. I'm very honest about it because you do have to get punched in the face sometimes. You do have to get poked and jabbed and be like, wake up. No, do this. Like, you can do it. You're not stuck anywhere where you are. You let yourself get stuck. And I think that's where I come in as it's like, I'm pliable, right? I can go here. I can go there. I can coach in different countries. I can sit back for 3 weeks and not say a word, or I can open my mouth in 30 seconds, because that's how you have to learn how to read a room sometimes. Yeah. So it's like just understanding, all these things that goes into coaching outside of the sets and the reps and the science, which I do hope because that is still important. But that's where I kind of go. And like I said, you can stop me because I'll just keep rambling. And I'll just
pliability. He's like Tom Brady.
I was going to say, do you have concerns with the future of training with potentially the majority of coaches, trainers, whatever, being online and not having hands-on? Like before we started recording, me and Jim were talking about how he loves being hands-on. He's always going to have people in person. He still coaches people in person locally. And now right now he's hanging out at Lifetime Gym in the cafe because he's, a baller. Just hanging out at the gym all day, watching people work out, getting his online stuff done. But do you think is that a fear at all for you in the future of this industry?
I think it's different. The difference is going to be demographically. Like, there's certain areas or certain hubs around the states that has the money that can pay for private training. You can go to an LA, you can go to New York, you can go to certain parts of Philly, like where I'm from, and you can get a different dollar amount. But there's also going to be like certain people. It's like, when you build your private model, it's like, what percentage of your income do you want to come from online, and how much hours goes into that? Because I think people miss, like, there's programming hours. There's hours where you get online, you have to respond and do Zooms and interact with people. So it's not like if you're doing it right, like, it takes time to program for people.
Yeah, I guess from a quality standpoint for the client who's like, there's ease of access. I can just hire this person online, and they're not maybe getting coached well, or the person doesn't really understand the biomechanics because they never really worked with somebody. They don't necessarily know all the things outside of their own experience with them training. Like, is that a concern for you?
Let's see, look at it this way. In the model that I offer people, right? One reason I went into using the online was also budget based for people. Mm-hmm. I want to train with you. Cool. What's your timeline? I got 3 or 4 months. Okay, what's your budget? I have this amount of money. I said, okay, realistically, that might get you 5 live sessions with me. And then the rest of that budget goes into your online program. Are you willing to do it that way? So there can be a hybrid effect to it. Yeah. And that's why I always teach people. It's like, because you do need to be able to coach live, because you just don't know. Like, sometimes, like,
so that, like, yeah, like that kind of answers it. Like, some of these coaches, they need to get live, hands-on performance. So even for the person who's out there maybe looking to hire somebody, that might be one vetting question. Have you ever trained in person? Do you train in person currently, or anything like that? So I'm thinking from the consumer perspective. There's more and more coaches popping up who are young, who are just like, yeah, I do coaching. And it's like, no, you train yourself, and now you just like write programs for people, sort of.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But like I said, I think early on, percentage should be higher of coaching live.
Agreed.
And then maybe your business model might be able to change based off of X, Y, and Z of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And take it from there. But like I said, I was so resistant on the online stuff because I didn't think I could deliver what I can deliver live.
Yeah.
And it's like, I use True Coach as one of the apps. Coach Catalyst is another one that I'm on. And it's like, I went on there and it was like, I didn't like the videos at first. So like, I was filming videos like every Friday for 90 minutes. And it was like, I filmed all my basics And then I would sign someone up, and I'd be like, all right, what do you have access to? They'd be like, I have a pair of sliders and a physio ball. And I'd be like, I don't have any videos with any of that stuff. So then I started doing like specific equipment filming sessions.
You're
So I
like,
would just
shit, I gotta get in shape and like do these things again and be able to
put my camera on, and I would take a pair of sliders and get on the turf for like 90 minutes. I would just set it. And then I would go back and just watch it and make cuts and be like, that one's good. I don't even know what that exercise is. That makes no sense. And so I just built, Go ahead.
So this is probably one of the toughest things about teaching people how to train, because the nutrition stuff, you can deliver that online. The mindset stuff, you can deliver that online. That just requires availability and talk time on the phone or on Zoom. But when it comes down to the actual technicalities of teaching people movement patterns and getting them to understand joint angles and line of pull and range of motion, ideally, like the hybrid model is the ideal situation, because I'm going to be able to get you in person. I can help you tighten up your skill set a couple times a month. It's going to be a la carte, but then I'm going to reinforce that with watching and then critiquing your videos that you submit to me. There are so many people that are still resistant. I mean, not so much on the athlete level, but the 45-year-old mom of 3 level who is embarrassed because she's overweight. She's already fucking freaked out that she's in a gym to begin with. And now you're asking her to film her last set of squats. And that just sounds like the most horrific thing in the world. But my thing to that is always, if you're here and you want to actually be able to expedite this learning curve, because we don't have all the time in the world and you don't have all the money in the world, this is your best and most cost-effective option. So it's either you take advantage of this now and you get through this uncomfortable idea that filming myself is embarrassing or people are going to judge me, and that's the reason why you're stuck. Well, we can get you unstuck pretty goddamn quick, and we can start delivering a better result because we'll actually be able to watch you move, because I can't fly to you in Topeka, Kansas every week and train you.
specifically just Topeka. So anybody outside of Topeka.
Yeah, Topeka. I only don't deliver in Topeka, but I will go to Anchorage, Alaska, or I will go to Edmonton, Alberta. That's fine too.
He loves going to Delco.
Fuck Delco.
Fuck Delco.
Fuck anything on the East Coast.
You don't say that in Delco.
So if you can get that little clip for me and you put
We'll send it to Tom DeVitro.
Dude, I will go down the street in Philly on a fucking 4-wheeler, popping wheelies with DMX blaring with my middle finger up, and nobody's going to say shit to me.
Well, that's normal.
That's actually happening. Anyway.
Yeah, that's normal in Philly. They're going to be like, where's the rest of his crew? That's the only thing they're going to say.
Like, why is this white supremacist driving through our hood?
Yeah, Delco, like, I'm feeling if you're going to fit in and try to blend in, like, you're going to be over on that side of McDade Boulevard, like in the Ridley, Fulcroft, Folsom probably neighborhood.
I'll just hand everybody a cheesesteak as a peace offering.
Yeah, make sure when you give it, say, here's a cheesesteak submarine. Give that to them so they know you're local.
Cheesecake grinder or cheesesteak grinder.
Would you like a cheesesteak grinder? Don't you know? Say, don't you know? That way they know you're from there.
That's from Minnesota, I believe.
I know. It's definitely not Delco.
But Jim, let me ask you this.
We're trying to set you up for failure, Aram.
Jim, do you work with like the normal people, like the general population folk?
I do. So I have a good book of my regulars, of my weekly people, or my early clients. So these are like my before work people, Monday through Friday. I keep on the book, and I love it because it's just like there's an energy. I always feel like when you work with these people they're all successful, right? And they're all successful in different things that I'm like, that's just very interesting to me. It's like, like I never really been much in the business world outside of the business of fitness, right? And to see people that just work in these certain networks and, commercial real estate and something, all this other stuff that I just don't have a strong understanding of. Like I'm learning from them, right? It's like, you hear these discussions and talks, in between sets that they have with each other. And it's like, okay, now I'm starting to pick some stuff up. So, that's my early mornings. That's my 5:15, 6:30, 7:45 a.m. sessions throughout the week.
What kind of problems are you seeing? I wanted to ask, what kind of problems are you seeing in that demographic? Like where are their biggest challenges and where are their biggest opportunities?
In terms of exercise?
Yeah, just like what are they coming into you missing out on? Like what was the chief complaints? Like where were their starting points, and how are you helping them get through that?
So I think overall, it's overall stress management. Like,
Okay.
how much do you actually need of this, right? How much high intensity work do you need? Do you need 6 days? You know, be realistic. Like 3 days, 2 to 3 days is probably going to be it, based off of your work schedule, kids, you know, all the cumulative stress that you have to deal with. Not enough like parasympathetic influence type stuff. So whether you want to say it's zone 2 or you want to go to a yoga class or whatever fits that environment, I don't really care. But not enough of that stuff is plugged in. And I think that's, and people just think, oh, maybe I just need to work harder. So it's like, okay, cool. So you're not sleeping, you're not chilling out, you're getting, and then you just want to try to push harder. And it's like, it's not going to work that way. And when I get to control the dosage and they start to see the specific outcomes start to happen, like, numbers go up on certain things, morning heart rate starts to drop a little bit, like they feel more rested, their higher output is higher, right? It's like just because you think you're pushing harder doesn't mean you're creating more. That's where, when I get to work with general public, that's why I think using metrics matters, because you have to be able to show them numbers, whether it's on a rowing machine, a Versa climber, it doesn't matter. If you have metrics, it kind of ends the discussion, it ends the debate, because look, here's your output, right? You're going to do this until you see it. You'll do as many reps as you can until there's a 10% drop off. Like, why? Well, I can do more. Well, no, you can't, because your numbers suck. And it's like, well, you're right. Okay, yeah, you have nothing left in the tank. Well, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And those are the same conversations I have with athletes. It's like, look, there's a limit. It's like, it's not if the prescribed rep is 5 reps, and you tell me you can do a 6 rep, then we're missing something, because your output wasn't enough. Because those 5 reps should have been it. It should have took you to your max level. Right. And that's, those are the conversations I have with people. It's like, look, it's not about coming in and doing 25 different exercises. It's realistically, man, you're probably doing 2 or 3 supersets, right? You're going to get like 6 good exercises an hour if you do, if you follow, with a good physical preparation, real recovery, and coach them. That's what coaching is. Coaching is talking to people in between sets, not just saying stop and go. It's like, and that's what I do with people. It's like, there's times that you are a cheerleader where you do just yell and scream and turn the music up. And then there's times where you coach where it's like, yeah, because like, if you're in the middle of some like barbell complex and I'm like asking you if you can feel your subscap as you're like, you're going to like, come on, man. Like, no, like that's where I'm not saying that stuff. That's where it's like loading go. I'll see it at the finish line. Right. Like,
with these with feel, because this conversation I feel like comes up a lot of high performers, but they're not performing high in their personal life and their fitness and all this. And it's almost, sometimes when I hear that discussion, it's almost like this what's your problem attitude. You're this high performer in every area, why can't you get your shit together in your personal life? And my take is, because they got a lot of shit, like when's the downtime for them? When do they get to finally relax? When do they get to finally turn their brain off? And then their thought is, because of sometimes that messaging, I need to go hard in the gym, like what you were just describing, and they're doing too much. How difficult is it to break some of these people's mindset when you're dealing with these high performing people?
Most of these people are 10, 15, 20 plus years into their routine. And that's what they're used to, whether it's good or not. And it's like, listen, so why are you here? What do you think I can do for you? Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to do it for a couple weeks so then we can have a better discussion about it? And it's all walks of life, right? Like if you train, like one of the biggest things I work with some law enforcement people. I work with police officers, and they work night shift and then they go into day shift, and like trying to help them manage that stuff. When should you train? What should you do after work? How do you manage this stuff week by week? Same with like nurses, right? Nurses will do like 3 12s in a row and then be off for a couple days. It's all different cumulative stress schedules. And it's almost like fun to me, because it's like fun being able to explain where you can put the right thing the right stimulus and the right dosage so they can, one, train for health, increase performance, and then, be better at work and be better at life, right? So it's just, but you have to be able to sit there and understand their full 24/7. Like, what do you do after work, right? Are you going to the gym or are you going to the bar?
Yeah.
And it's like, right? Because it's like now you do have your time to recover, and you go on a bender or you go on it and then you don't sleep. And then it's like, there's all these things, and it's like, it's not to scold anybody. It's like, look, like, this is why you're not getting results. Like, this
it's
is
an awareness perspective.
Let's just be aware of it. And all of a sudden it starts to, it's like, it might take a couple months, but like I said, they'll nibble at something and say, okay, this worked. I will try this. This makes me feel better. Boom. And now it's like, okay. And now I'm doing food prep instead, stopping at X, Y, and Z, like on the way to work. And I actually feel better. My bowel movements are better because I'm eating real food. So it's like, you just have to find where you can get someone to start to get the best chance of buy-in, and then the other stuff. So there's no specific order for me. It's like, but just find what's going to be the best thing. And if you have someone, like I said, a nurse or a police officer, just look at what they do. It's like, if they have to sit in a car, it's like, look, give them the right food and the right hydration.
What kind of tips do you have for those people? Because I know that we definitely have shift workers that listen to this. Yeah. What are some things that it's highly common with all of them from a routine perspective when they're going from night shift to day shift and the days in between, and how can they attempt to get some kind of homeostasis in this? Should they be attempting to eat similar even when they're on night or day? What's some basics that you would generally see that in those people that they should be doing?
So like I said, if I'm going to give them work to do during those work shifts, it's going to be more post-work parasympathetic, because I want them to be able to calm down. Because a lot of times, like, they don't have a lot of time in between shifts. A lot of times it's only like a couple hours that they're awake, and they go back to bed and they go back on the other 12 to 16 hour shift. So you have to figure out a way for them to downregulate things. And, and it's not going to be going to happy hour. It's not going to be.
It's not going to be a hit class.
Yeah, it's not. And and where are you going to put that stuff in? You're going to put it back in on the days that they're off, right? It's like, that's where you can fit that stuff in, and just make them understand. It's like, look, like, we're doing this for obviously your goals, your needs, and your wants, but it's like, there's a certain dosage of what is going to make sense. And it's like, until your schedule changes, this is the schedule that you have to change, right? Like, it's a variable that you can control. You can't control your work schedule, but you're going to have to control the other schedules. That's your best shot.
Yeah.
I find that I have an ER doctor I work with, and then a couple of respiratory therapists, a few nurses.
When he says that, because he's constantly in the ER, and he just knows the guy at this point. The guy is.
It's probably one of the toughest demographics to work with, because their physiologies are the most unresponsive to change because of that high level of stress accumulation over time. And it's usually going to be because of that circadian rhythm disruption that they have, because they're just not sleeping normal hours. They're overstimulated when they're supposed to be asleep. And then it's just like this constant chase of dopamine constantly, because they're just trying to feel some level of energetic so they can get through their fucking day. And I think one of the hardest things to do is to get those folks to almost take like 2 to 3 steps back for a period of significant amount of time until they can take a couple of steps forward. How do you help with that level of frustration with the people that are truly overstimulated, overstressed, overwhelmed, to get them to believe that you may not see change immediately? You may have to back off for a little while. You may not be able to put your foot all the way down on the gas pedal, because that could be very emotionally and mentally damaging for them if they're not getting the results that they want from the perceived level of effort they're putting into it.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be an N=1 for that person, but it's like, when you have these conversations with them, why did we get to this point for this conversation to happen? Physically, mentally, socially, all these little things that we can actually have conversations about with people. And, it's just, how old are you? How many years have you been in your field, and how many more years do you want to last? Because like I said, at the pace that you're going, this is what it's not going to get better, right? If you continue down this path. Again, it's no different with an athlete, right? It's like, when I talk to athletes, it's like, how many contracts do you want, right? Are you willing to manage these other things so you have a better chance to play? But But like I said, these jobs, these doctors and nurses and law enforcement people, it's like the stress is there. It's like it's long shifts. And it's a lot of stuff that they just want to be able to tune out when they're not there.
Yeah.
And so it's like maybe that's what it is. Like maybe can we find different hobbies, different strategies that they can do to help them decompress? And right. And just like I said, we can sit down and look at a schedule with somebody. Like they know what their schedule is. It's like you can look at someone's next 4 to 6 weeks and say, look, like here's what I want to be your primary stuff, over that time. And then, breaking old habits is hard, but you want to go out with the boys or you want to go out with the girls, like, pick 2 times, right? Yeah. Like find it on the schedule that makes sense, plug it in for them. And like I said, start them there because once the good stuff happens, it's less work on our side to make them try to do it because they feel the effects.
And they believe in it.
Right? It's like, yeah. So that's why it's always like if you have proof, if it's working, you don't have to sell as hard because they see it, they feel it, they see it, and it's going to be expressed by them, in all aspects of life.
And you see the same thing with people who are just the chronic dieter type. They're coming to you for help, but then they resist. It's kind of like they're coming to you at this point, like the stuff I'm doing is not working. And if anybody has found themselves in that trap of like, you're reaching out for help because all the stuff you've been doing isn't working and they're telling you to do something totally different. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, all the things that did make sense have continually failed you. So at a certain point, at a certain point with your training, with your nutrition, with whatever, you're reaching out to a coach. I mean, you do have to establish like that trust. Hey, it's going to look totally different. It might not be as intense as what you're used to or what you think, because that's how that worked when you were 25 for whatever reason. And now it's not working anymore. We need stress is a major factor. But we're at that time now, I feel like, with social media. As soon as something becomes a topic that people talk about, then everybody's like, it's not the stress, it's your calories, you're overeating. And it's like then we just start like bashing on each other. Like I saw a post today just bashing on reverse dieting and all that. And I'm like, I get it, but like to these absolutes, like that was something that was popular and now people are bashing it like that's not a real thing. And well, there's nuance and sometimes it is. Maybe it's not the general problem for most people. Maybe they are overeating on weekends. They don't really need the reverse diet. They just need to be more compliant, blah, 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 blah. But the stress thing, I could see people soon just bashing it almost. But it's a real thing. I mean, you're seeing it in the people that you're working with.
I think we've already gone through that phase. We've gone through that phase of like stress is going to tank your hormones, which is going to tank your ability to lose fat. That wave is already, I feel like it's already come and gone, but I think now it's.
But do you think it will turn the other way where they're like saying that if you're sitting there talking about stress, if your coach is telling you to manage stress, it's BS. You need to get in the gym and you need to track your calories.
Well, people just have to understand, and Jim, you could probably speak to this. There's a big difference between training your biceps and your triceps 2-3 times a week and not needing any recovery from that versus fucking deadlifting heavy 3 times a week and squatting heavy twice a week and then trying to do jumping and bounding and sprinting. Those are systematically fatiguing activities versus I'm just creating some local fatigue in my calves and in my biceps. I don't need a deload week from that. I just need to eat properly and hopefully sleep a little bit. I'll be fine. So I think context matters. And I think that's where you come in, is be able to explain that stuff to people.
Yeah, and I think that's, that's where I always throw the word global stress around, right? It's like people are like, hey, I want to do zone 2, I want to do this. It's like, okay, cool, right? Like take a walk, incline, use an elliptical, something that's rhythmic.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
But you're still going to be able to use all your body parts the next day.
Nope.
Right? Like you can't do something, well, I'm just going to do kettlebell swings instead. It's like, listen, it's like listen in the beginning, and then we can try different strategies. But it's like there's a reason why we have tiers and progressions and regressions, and certain strategies put in certain places for people. But like I said, they just feel like if they're not working hard, which they're still not, right? Because they're only working at like 80% because they won't actually collect numbers. They just want to go into and say they did the hard stuff. And it's like, well, show me numbers. It's like you don't have numbers to show. It's like, so what's actually being achieved by the workout, right? And that's always part of the conversation with people. It's like, look, like you're showing up and you're telling me you're putting 100% in, but you're just declining by numbers. Like that's not a sign. Like you don't. So you think it's the workout?
I think it's the coaching. I think it's the coaching.
It's got to be the coach.
It's the coaching.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. I'm getting weaker.
Yeah, probably are. But like I said, there's ways you can camouflage it. You can put certain stuff. You can, throw a hard arm day in at a certain point. Just do legs once a week, and then just do an upper day and have an accessory day, and just get the zone 2 stuff started.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's the thing. It's like people have to be willing to do the baseline prerequisite requirements for a few weeks to have a conversation about it. Because what are you arguing about when you don't have anything to argue? Because it's like, show me, like, we'll have the discussion after you put the numbers in.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, we were talk about it with nutrition stuff, like just track for a couple weeks. And they want to get right into a dieting protocol. It's like, we just want to see what the baseline is. We just want to see if you're even tracking accurately. We just want to find out, did you put any of that on a scale? We just want to create some awareness. And unless they're doing that, it's the exact same conversations that you're having in the fitness aspect of it. You're giving me no numbers, and you want me to have a protocol for you.
Yeah. It's like, okay,
it's wild.
Right.
It's wild. It's wild. Alyssa Robbins, I was going to say, tell us about you a couple years ago, or posted, you had like the beer run that you were going on. Like you're like posted the beer after the workouts, just random beers all the time.
This is random, very, very specific. It took a lot of work.
Do you remember?
I hope so. Yes, I do. I went 75 days.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
So listen, it was during that whole weird 2020, the shutdown had begun. And listen, I'm a positive force, man. And I was like, you know what? I was just like, it would already start on social media. You already start to see people start to go at each other. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but guess what? Like, I don't have to go to work for a few weeks. So I'm just going to figure out a way to start doing something positive. And I just went outside and I poured a Stein and I chugged it. And I was a huge fan of the Man Show back in the day. So I took the Man Show song and used it as like
how those two hosts are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum, like politically now.
It's all part of the game, dude.
It's wild.
They're boys still. I guarantee they're still boys. But I tagged them in it, and then Corolla like reshared it.
Oh,
and
really?
It was just like, not all heroes wear capes, and it was like my viral like Twitter moment.
That's
and
funny.
I was just like, I got to do this every day. It's like my job. So
you little bitch, you social media bitch.
I basically, all I did was, so this is my thing. I would wake up in the morning, I would film exercises, train, and then I would like go outside and work out, film stuff more, come back, like take an hour or two and play PlayStation. I got into like MLB The Show, and then 5 o'clock was my chug time. And I had to chug a beer. I chugged a beer a different way every time. So like, if you go back on my Instagram, it's just like riding a skateboard, hanging from a tree, like inverted, like you name it. Like I was just doing it.
Yeah.
And every Saturday, I would just take all the money in the donation, and I would pick a name out of a hat. So every time people donated money, they nominated a small business, and I sent that out.
So I don't think I realized that. So you turned that into like a fundraiser kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was for good reason.
Yeah. Were people donating and then giving you a request? Like, I want you hanging upside down from a tree branch to chug a beer?
No request.
Really?
Pretty sure I didn't have any.
Idiots.
I was just doing it, man. I was just,
that's funny.
I think the hardest one I did the 5-10-5 Pro Agility with 3 beers.
What was it?
The 5-10-5, the ladder.
Pro Agility test.
Yeah. Okay. So it went out a little bit.
So basically, run 5 yards, pick a beer up and chug it. Run 10 yards, pick up the next.
Oh my god!
And then
that's brutal.
And then I got the last one down, and it was just like,
I did a beer mile and I had to puke after like the 3rd or 4th beer. It's like you chug a beer, run a quarter mile, chug a beer, run a quarter mile, chug a beer. I was like, wow.
So what I need you to look up when we're done this is, I saw it yesterday, and I'm saying it's BS. I'm saying it's cut. These 2 guys supposedly did a mile run, and after each lap, they ate a Chipotle bowl.
No fucking way.
No way.
And the guy said he did it in 10 minutes and like 12 seconds.
The whole mile?
and 4 Chipotle bowls.
0% chance. There's no fucking way. I can't even. What is he running, a 5-minute mile?
I mean, you'd have to train for that in a way, the way people train for hot dog eating contests. I mean,
that's but just having that
like
volume. I mean, those things are not
serving
small.
each.
Yeah,
a half serving bowl.
It looked like a legit bowl, like a legit.
Jesus, that would be.
It's like, dude, okay. Well, even if you run a 2-minute lap, 2 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
So
you're telling me 30 seconds per bowl?
No way.
It took me 15 plus minutes to eat my Chipotle bowl today, and I was like bordering on rushing.
Yeah. So I need you to look that up.
I could probably get it down in like 5 or 6 minutes, but there's no way I'm running a 400-meter lap afterwards and feeling okay about it.
I don't know why that's making me think of CKY2K for people our age, the pre-Jackass VHS tape.
Oh, yeah.
That's my backyard, man. My college house.
Yeah.
Some of those videos.
I think it was in the CKY2K. It was not Jackass, where they took a bunch of laxatives and ran wearing a jockstrap. And it was all rooted from a George Carlin line. Here's something else you don't see every day, or you never see. A man sprinting down the street shitting himself. So they did it. And he's wearing a jockstrap. His ass is out. He drinks like tenfold the amount of laxatives. And they're just videotaping this guy sprint. And you just see this shit like running up his crotch, down his thighs, up his butt. I mean, it was
oh my God.
It was awesome. But that I'm picturing happening under those guys' shorts in the Chipotle competition.
It's amazing what human beings are capable of. And you're sitting here you're sitting here bitching to us about stress, Jim. And there's people that are out there that are truly extraordinary human beings and high achievers.
Martyrs.
There are.
Yeah. Amazing. Cool. You can run a multi-billion-dollar industry. Check this out.
Yeah.
4 Chipotle bowls in an hour, puss. You know?
10 minutes and 12 seconds.
10 minutes,
yeah, that's
10
crazy.
Minutes,
I remember that beer mile thing I did. Somebody got it done in like sub 6 minutes. I don't even understand how this is. I mean, this is like, I must be like a 4:30 mile guy, or he just was pouring half the beer down his face and not really drinking it. I mean, I was getting every last drop. I mean, I value the hard work of those brewmasters, you know?
You do.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And I look at disrespect them.
No. So I had a couple of, I know that you're more on the training side of things, but I know that you're somebody who's very adamant about the basics of nutrition. And I think the basics are what people really just don't want to buy into, because it just doesn't seem that it's going to be advantageous at all.
Not enough.
The conversations that you have, I mean, I'm sure you're in the ear of all your folks when they're doing their training, they're doing their recovery protocols, and I'm sure you're talking to them about this stuff. So when it comes down to like not eating a ton of restaurant meals out, prepping your own food, what's your messaging on that, and how do you deliver it?
It's because, if you know what your sets and reps are on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, why can't you know what your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is? Why can't that stuff already be ready? Because if you just go into the gym without a workout plan, right? Like if you give me a C4 or 2 of them and then like take the leash off me and like let me in Gold's in Venice, I'll run around for 3 hours. It's like you just want to do everything, right?
I'd be scared. I'd be intimidated.
It's an emotional lift, right? So it's like when you have these athletes, or for an example, you got college kids and they go to an unlimited cafeteria. It's like you need direction, right? And it's like you have other people that will wake up and they'll leave the house and they'll just go to like, a Delco Wawa. You ever been to a Wawa?
To get a hoagie? A Wawa.
Wawa.
Don't eat the Wawa over the dead body.
You're going to go to Wawa, you're going to tap Mac. You even know what a tap Mac is?
Tap Mac. Do you not know what tap Mac is? That's actually like a Delco thing. Tap Mac? Hit the ATM machine?
Yeah.
Hit an ATM machine. Go use an ATM machine.
That's what it means?
I did not think that Jim just told me something. I did not know that was a regional thing. Tap Mac, that's like, that's what
it's still say it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you going to an ATM machine at this point? What situations? Tell us, Jim. What situations
what are you buying with? What are you buying with cash?
Use the card.
Right now, it's like the biggest degenerate gambling season in Delco. It's the Super Bowl.
Oh, right.
And then you needed $20 to get the
Okay,
Girl
so for those
Scouts.
people, okay.
And then March Madness is coming up. So.
Well, the Girl Scout people, they got their square things. The last time I tried pulling the I don't have cash thing, they were like, "Oh, we take credit card," and I was like, "I don't get girls. I just don't buy Girl Scout cookies. Sorry." I had to punch the one girl in the face, and then I slapped her mom. It was awful, but I didn't get any, and I saved my figure that day, and that's really the lesson.
Yeah,
but
tap back.
It's we all have our vices, right? And like we all have the foods that we like. And if I leave on Monday and I don't have my specifics, I'm gonna want to stop at the local Italian place and get a grinder or a submarine. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
It's like because it's not easy to get what you want from a healthy side by just going out randomly. It's like it's harder to do. Like you're not going to get the protein that you're looking for. You're not going to get some other stuff. It's like you just have to go to a supermarket to do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, because I always tell people, I'm like, you think you're eating healthy, you go to these spots, and it's like, why is your stomach in shambles 30 minutes later?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what they cooked? Do you know what they cooked it in? You know what type of oil that probably was, or the product lines that you're using?
How old
like,
or reused it was?
Yeah. So it's like you should know exactly what you're putting in your body as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then like go out and do what you do, right? Like whatever your happy hour is, your steakhouse or your cheap stuff that you go at, then you can enjoy that without having to worry about it. But it's like take the emotional part out of eating and just eat it because you know why you went to the store and bought it. You know why you put it in a specific container, and that's it. That's part of the game. Like,
what do you say? I was gonna say, what do you say to the people who? It's just like I can't eat the same thing all the time, and I know it's easy to say like
you can because you are fucking eating the same thing all the time.
I know, but I'm saying like to that kind of a person outside of too bad, suck it up, eat it. Is there anything that you would actually outside of suck it up and just freaking eat the same thing every day? Is there any advice that you do give those people?
Chicken is the discipline. The hot sauces
is the discipline.
The sauces are the motivation and inspiration.
Okay.
That's how you change. That's how you change it up.
Yeah.
Chicken's chicken.
Yeah.
Change the flavor.
Yeah.
Right. I have my rotation of stuff that I put on it, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really that simple, and I think that's the problem. Everybody overcomplicates this because they don't realize that like just because it's the base is beef, rice, and a vegetable, that it has to taste like beef, rice, and a vegetable. It can taste like a Mexican dish. It can taste like an Asian dish.
Even that, like Mexican food.
Beef, rice, and vegetables.
I think it was Jim Gaffigan talking about how he worked at a Mexican restaurant, and he's like, "Yeah, people go, what's in the taco? Beef, cheese, tortilla. Oh, what's the enchilada? It's beef, cheese, tortilla. What's?" And he's like, everything's beef, cheese, tortilla. It's all the same things, but there's little stuff that makes it a little bit different. It's a soft shell. It's a hard shell. There's a enchilada sauce, whatever it might be. I'm big on like, what are your three kind of things if it's breakfast? Because everybody's like, I just get sick of eggs. Figure out three things that you can kind of rotate or like go through. You can have this one, just kind of get sick of it. Here's like your other thing. And I'm big on like, what's your backup plan for when you're unprepared? When you're unprepared, you really didn't have it prepped. You need to have a backup plan.
Well, that's
for
Chipotle.
Me,
that's
Chipotle.
Yeah.
For me, it's Chipotle. Or, hey, Wawa, I know the buffalo chicken wrap has pretty good macros. If, like, there's not a Chipotle, that's a good thing I can go grab. It might be a Pat Select or some kind of a pizza place that has a chicken salad. Yeah, but having the backup plan, because that I feel like a lot of people end up going, oh, well, I wasn't prepped that day. Life got crazy yesterday. I didn't have enough meal prep for today. What do? I guess I'll just get McDonald's and Domino's and a meatball parm.
The problem is those fucking places are just always open. When I landed in JFK last weekend at like 11 o'clock and I was driving to my brother's house in the middle of Connecticut.
How was that?
Dude, I'm driving down the road and I'm sitting on Grubhub trying to find like something decent at midnight. And there's McDonald's is open, Taco Bell is open, Denny's was open, so I'm like, fuck it, Denny's is my best option. I can at least get a chicken salad from Denny's with grilled chicken on it.
You Grubhub Denny's, or did you go there?
No, because I was driving and I just had it delivered by the time I got back to my brother's house. It was like
you can Grubhub Denny's?
You can Grubhub anything, yeah.
I don't have any of the stuff. I don't even know. Like that's just crazy.
Dude, it was between the grilled chicken salad or the moons over my hammy, and I decided to be good and get the grilled chicken salad. But
feel
then I
like
ended up eating. My brother left me 3 Kit Kat bars, and I ate all 3 of them. So it didn't fucking matter.
Did we go to Denny's together at a conference in Orlando? I feel
Yeah.
like when you said moons over my hammy,
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like
Orlando.
I've been with you when you ordered that.
It's my favorite dish. I mean, I don't love breakfast food, but yeah,
That's your jam.
moons over my hammy. It's amazing. It's a fucking pressed 2 sourdough with cheddar cheese and ham and scrambled eggs. It's how do you beat that?
It's wild that you can Grubhub Denny's. I don't know why. I'm just picturing like Denny's is a diner, but but it's not like a local diner. You can just Grubhub anything. That's wild.
But at least places like that, like, and I'm sure Jim, like since you travel all the time, you're probably going to some places that are a little bit more like food deserty, and they don't really have a Chipotle or some bowl or poke place that you can assemble your own ingredients, and you have to kind of just go with whatever the local fare is.
Like I started to make templates for those places. Like I did a Chipotle one the other day for people, and I showed them what a 550 calorie bowl would look like, with just like double steak, rice, and that was it. And then it was like, or you can do this with all the fixings.
Yeah, that was
and now
great.
it's 12 and now it's 1,200 calories. And it's like, I get it. You're like, well, I want to get my money's worth, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, no, this is what you get. Like, this is your penalty. Like, this is, you weren't prepared. So
even when I go, I feel like the people working look at me crazy when they're like, queso? And they already start going for it. I'm like, no. Like, I'm like, rice, half bean, double chicken, the fajita veggies, pico, lettuce.
You can't say double chicken yet because then it changes their scoop. You have to let them give you the first scoop first, and then say I want double.
I did hear Alex Hormozy say that. Okay. He said ask for the chicken and then say, actually, I'll take more or whatever. I won't order it online because half the time I go, if the person knows me, if they're like, they don't write down it's double chicken, they'll just be like, it was regular.
You get that thing, it's like a flat tire. There's nothing in it.
No, it's
I'll have to keep doing that. I'll have to say chicken, and then I'll have to say, how would you say? Would you say I'll take a chicken? Actually, would you say double it, or I'll take a little bit more?
You can mix in. No, you know what? I want steak. Never mind. I want double chicken. I'm gonna do a second chicken.
Yeah.
And then they'll give you the Big Daddy scoop.
Yep.
All right.
But that's the biggest problem. That's what people don't understand is like, it's so hard to get protein. It's not hard to get protein when you're preparing your own protein. It is very hard to get protein when you're eating it out, and it's going to cost you triple everywhere you go because your average size of protein portions at most restaurants is going to be maybe 4 or 5 ounces, if that. That's 25 to 30 grams of protein. It's fucking nothing for most people. And what are you doing? You're going to do that 3-4 times a day? No. Like, I mean,
have you guys ever heard like at McDonald's? I remember somebody went through. It was somebody who like would never eat McDonald's. I don't know if it was like a Max Lagarve, whatever his name is, or one of those guys. And he went through McDonald's drive-through and ordered 4 quarter-pound. Like it was just the beef, like some secret a la carte thing menu.
With
and he
no
got 4,
with no bun on it.
Yeah, he's like, I just need this many, however it was, and it was fairly cheap. It was 4. He's like, I just got a pound of beef. It's this much protein, and he went through the drive-thru and had him and was videotaping himself doing the whole thing. And
it's 1,000 grams of fat.
It might be.
Well, it's not like they're not using 96.4 ground beef at McDonald's. Let's be honest.
He gave the countdown. He gave like the breakdown for it. It's like you're getting a lot of protein. It was just kind of one of those things. Hey, this isn't something I normally eat.
Yeah,
but this is a way to really jam some protein from McDonald's. You can just ask
and sodium.
For this.
I mean, I think you're better off at that point. Just go to a Subway. Just go to a fucking Subway. Get a 6-inch sub with double meat on it on one of their American clubs or something. You're good to go.
I heard McDonald's only uses pasture raised beef now. Is that true?
Yeah.
They only.
Yeah. Pasture raised 96.4 organic beef, high quality. I mean, I will say though, McDonald's is not. I mean, I looked at prices recently because I was curious. It's not. It's gotten astronomically high to the point where that was the last place where you can get the cheapest possible garbage meal. And even now, I mean, even if you get the meal, it's still close to 10. But you're still better off cooking at home. But more now than ever is when the value of cooking at home is very evident.
Dude, the last time I got pizza, it was like a large pizza, whatever, half pepperoni, 10 wings. It was like $45 plus tip. I'm like, it's not cheaper to eat out. I'm like, this is insane. And people are ordering pizza. I mean, back when I was in college, Jim, we're like the same age probably. What was it? McDonald's had like 25-cent Wednesday, 25-cent burgers. We would go like get 20 of them, 30 of them, whatever it was. And then we just reheat them for the next few days.
Oh, yeah. And they were fine. Didn't have the refrigerator.
Yeah, correct. No refrigeration needed. It's fantastic. Oh, if I breathed on it, it basically heated it up. I could eat it.
My college roommate managed Papa John's, so we always had breadsticks and garlic butter, like unlimited, in our fridge, which was not probably good.
Carb loading. Were you doing it bulk then? Were you bulking?
Every day.
You were bulking
every day.
Well, I appreciate your Zone 2 posts when you put them out. You're sweating.
Which ones?
When you're doing your Zone 2.
Yeah.
You're just sweating, and it's like it's a good reminder. Like, hey, people can get your sweat without having it be high intensity. It could be beneficial. Get out there and do it, and show up, put the work in, move the dirt.
It feels good, man. It's like, and your high intensity the next day is awesome. Like you're ready for it.
Yeah.
It's like
not enough people. I think so. Just before we let you go, could you just give us? I mean, we've talked about it before, but I want to drill this point home. How would you categorize and explain to a layperson what Zone 2 is, how it should feel, and what they should expect from it?
I mean, people have their discussions about what the heart rate is. You can tell people 110 to 140 as an average. You can tell people they should still be able to have a conversation.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. I tell people to go off a rate of exertion, like a 6 to 7. And then it's like, can you do it nasal only? And if you can do it nasal only, because that's what I want to get people to get to. It's like, because it's one of the most important things that we can get people from a coaching side to start, using
Zone
more.
2 nasal only would be the goal.
I was nasal only last Saturday night, but for the wrong reasons.
There you go.
Yeah.
He was home with friends. Because I always say like Zone 2, like you can have a conversation, but it's difficult. Like Zone 1's like you can easily have a conversation.
Yeah.
Zone 2, you can have a conversation, but it's like, so this is what.
Well, isn't Zone 1 just being alive?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
But right now, Aram's the only one doing Zone 1. He's standing up.
I'm Zone 2 right now.
It is hard for him to stand up.
My heart rate is, I mean, I run hot, so
it's still trying to come down from last weekend.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I'm getting steps without getting steps.
Did you wear a Speedo at any point last weekend when it was freezing cold in the Northeast?
No, fuck, dude. It was 12 degrees in Connecticut. I don't think I ever took my jacket off for the entire weekend.
It was cold.
It's horrible.
All the
I don't know how
snow's
you
gone.
guys live like that. It's melted already on the East Coast?
Gone.
It's 50,
yesterday.
like 8 degrees today. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it rained. It was all gone.
Oh, you guys are gonna get so sick soon.
Yeah, if you're weak.
Well,
if you're
that's
weak
true.
Mentally and physically, and you're all boosted up.
If you don't sleep and you don't train, and you eat McDonald's every single day, you'll probably get sick.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking rock.
You'll be fine.
I love even that the discussion. Like people still think you're gonna get sick from going out in the cold.
Yeah.
Go out in the cold, you're gonna get sick. Oh, your hair's wet, you're gonna get sick. Make sure you're gonna get sick. I'm like, that's not true.
That's
like I have high school students who think that.
Like when you leave a building each day, they should open the windows.
Yeah.
And then close them again in the morning.
Yeah.
Like you're basically, your building is an airplane.
Yeah.
Like
every day.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, yeah. So open the windows.
Yeah.
Like the janitors should open the windows.
Yeah. It's just
they should close them.
Yeah, it's wild. And then and they're like, well, then why do people get more sick in the winter? I'm like, because you're inside more.
Yeah.
That's why.
Exactly.
It's not because you went out in the cold. It's because you're sitting around inside. And then I'll even bring up, like during COVID, in the summer, rates went up in the summer in Florida because it was so hot, people stayed inside. And then in the winter, rates went up here because people were where? Say it with me. Inside.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
And being in your car doesn't count as being outside.
That's not true. I have the air conditioning on and I have the fresh air one. I don't have the recycled air. So
people are outside for like 20 minutes a day, maybe.
Smoking cigarettes in their car with the window up and their mask on.
I respect that part. I respect
cut a hole in the mask.
From an old person. I'll drive by some people and I'll be like, man, I do respect that.
Dude, I saw a guy, a driving instructor outside of the DMV, overweight, khaki shorts, button down like short sleeve dress shirt, drinking a full sugar Coke, sucking on a cigarette, and his student is in the car waiting for him to finish, and the car's not running. And the dude's shirt, he's got sweat all over it. I felt so bad for this kid. I'm like, this guy's going to get done and hop in this car, overweight, sweaty, sucking down a cigarette. And he's going, all right, kids, start it up.
Yeah,
let's go smell this guy.
Let's go parallel park for an hour.
That's literally what I had with my high school, like DMV guy. We had to take classes, in high school.
Yeah.
And my drive was from the high school to the hot dog store. I drove to the hot dog stand.
I like the fact that it's called a hot dog store.
Hot dog stand.
No, stick with store. It's better. I'm picturing this guy has a hot dog store that nobody knew about.
He got his hot dogs, and we drove him back to school.
How many did he get?
God.
How many did he get? How many did he get?
Two. Yeah, 2 or 3. I think two standard.
2 or 3. Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of Texas Wieners hot dog place? Yeah. It was like in my town for a little bit, dude. There was like 6-packs of like these Texas. Oh, they were slamming.
Lips and assholes, baby.
Lips and assholes.
Jim, what's your plan for Mumbai when you go there? Like, obviously, food wise, I would probably die because I hate Indian food. But
I love it. I love.
Oh, are you a Vindaloo guy? You're a big Vindaloo guy.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. So
you've got a good hard colon on you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I can't. I'd be fucking
because he participates in a diverse portfolio with his food and doesn't eat the same thing every day like you, Aram, so he can handle it. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'd rather have my guts be ravaged by other things.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. So tell me again about your weekend with your buddies.
Hey, listen, this is an honest podcast. We cover all bases here, and we're trying to we're giving people tactics that they need.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, though, like obviously you're going there. You're not going to be bringing food with you.
I mean, I'll bring some stuff. I'll pack some bars and stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's for the most part pretty real food that you're going to have access to out there.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. The hotel looks really nice. So it just seems like it's going to be legit.
Yeah. Do you need a roommate? I mean, I don't have to go to the Real Coaches Summit. I'll go eat some Indian food.
You want to take a 14-hour flight to one of the fucking, well, Mumbai is actually really nice, but anything outside of that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
I would not. 2 places I don't need to go, India and China.
Like I said, I had a French chef, so I was spoiled for that.
Oh, yeah. So you're basically not even going to China. Like
our road trips were very mysterious. It was like going to like an early 80s, like Seagal movie, like city.
What a great description.
Perfect description.
It was, I saved all my plane tickets because I was just like, I just need to make sure I look back in 30 years and be like, yeah, I was in Xinjiang, China.
Yeah.
For 3 days.
And I'm still alive.
And I would never eat the soup, right? Every time we got to the hotel, they'd be like, food's on the 3rd floor. And it would be me and like the 2 American players. And we'd walk up and it'd be like, what's in the soup? And like one of the Chinese players would be like, yeah, you got Dick. There's Dick. There's soup. And you'd be like, I know you'll eat it, so I don't know if you're joking. And it's like, we're not touching it. So, like, I had to strategize with, like, the GM. I'd be like, look, like, you're paying these 2 Americans a lot of money, and we're literally bringing, like, 4 bananas, like, 2 things that we can steal out of the hotel. That's all they're eating for 3 days because we're, like, legit scared. Like, no one wants to touch it.
Dick soup.
Dude.
I think. Well, that's the podcast episode name.
That was actually the funny thing is that was Aram's nickname in high school.
Yeah, Dick Soup is the episode name.
Should we title it that? Dick Soup with Jim Ferris?
Absolutely.
Dick Soup and Roofies with Jim Ferris.
Well, if you had an
Oh,
agent,
man.
he's very much long gone. He's no longer going to be booking anything for you. You're going to be on your own, and I'm pretty sure your professional careers will dwindle after this podcast. So thank you.
Luckily, they're hiring for him. They're hiring him for his wealth of knowledge.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Not his personal decisions to hang out with us for an hour.
Well, Jim, good luck in Mumbai. I hope you come back whole without any gastrointestinal problems.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And
I'll
we'll be seeing you at some stuff, and it was nice getting to know you. Nice having you on here. Nice knowledge bombs. And our last question, unless you have anything that you wanted to tell the people.
I'm good. Whatever you got. It's a question.
Our last question is, it's a doozy. Bye.